Now, there'll be many factors that you will have reflected on about being successful, and I really want to press this methodology about catching people being successful at things, because using data, both qualitative and quantitative, is not easy for a lot of people, and we have to catch people being good at this stuff. And I think that's kind of a key principle that I want to lay on the table here. And so by actually reflecting on where it's been successful in your school is actually then giving you a real window. That worked, how do we build on that? How do we keep actually learning from what works? And I've been very influenced by sort of appreciative inquiry methodology, probably going back to my adolescent health days, strength-based thinking as you work with young people. You know, there are many deficits in people that you just can't fix up, and there are many deficits in organisations that, you know, are quite tough. So often, to motivate people and to engage them and to bring them with you, a strengths-based method is one that really does engage, does motivate, and does build that sense of collective efficacy. And so acknowledging then where things have worked and going really well becomes your repertoire as leaders in your team, and to be able to demonstrate those effective, successful practices and model those is a key feature. Now, there'll be many things that you talk about, and you know, I really want you to think about those principles in terms of how we use data effectively. And you mentioned many of these in your discussion. So engaging your staff, making sure the information is relevant and purposeful, not blaming, and these are some of the things I was talking about. Having professional conversations about the data. And when I talk about appreciative inquiry, inquiry is the way in which we're asking questions. What kind of questions are we asking, and how do we ask them? And I'll come back to that later in the presentation. Testing our hypothesis, reflecting, not Big Brother coming in over the top. Although when I stand here from the department, many of you might sort of find that a bit mystifying yourself, but you know, it's how we actually demystify and make it a friendly tool for us to use to inform our thinking. And to consider using data regularly. It's not a kind of once-off event that we might do, but it's part of the practice. So these are sort of some of the things, and I throw that last one in, number 12. You are not your data. And I will say that over and over again, because when we start talking about data at the classroom level, the same issues will arise. The teacher is not their data. The principal is not the school opinion data. You know, and so to depersonalise, and I think that's what it's the practice and the professionalised conversations, not the personalised conversations that we're having, which Bruce talked about earlier too. Okay. The leadership challenge then. Well, what is your culture regarding the use of data in your school? And these are really the reflective questions. You know, to what extent do you think some of those practices are occurring? Are there a set of agreed principles or protocols about how we use data in the school? And have your staff engaged with defining those protocols or principles? And that might be, if you haven't already got those, something that you might want to think about. And if you have got them, reflect, are they working, and test how far you think they're being effectively used. So at the whole school level, let's think about our data at the whole school level and how we might be engaging others to make sense of the data. Do we engage our staff? Do we engage our students? And do we engage our parents in helping to make sense of data at the whole school level? Or is it the leadership team that tries to make sense and interpret the data? How do we invite people to make interpretations of data? Because with something like the student attitude to school data, students will make sense of that in quite different ways to the way in which staff might make sense of that. And so how do we engage people with actually making meaning of the information that we have?